Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome into the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on in the house. Get yourself up a ringside seat. Get your popcorn, your soda, your whiskey. Get everything you need because we've got a roadblock to WrestleMania.
Yep, we got to load them up now. It's time to start getting the horses in the carriage. We got to get everybody lined up because we're heading out now. It's time to pack your bags and get on the road because we're heading there.
Yeah, we fixing to go to the airport, y'all. You know, we're in transit. We're going to the airport, going to Belgium. We got to go to Brussels.
Yuck.
Yeah. Come on now.
3 o'clock Raw.
3 o'clock Raw. Come on.
Yuck.
All right. So if we're going to be yuck to the 3 o'clock Raw, let's at least get on board with today's sponsor. Today's sponsor, we got Whiskey Gypsy Tribute, a new whiskey by this company that is a double-barreled bourbon aged 4 years.
All right. Not yuck.
Not yuck. Not yuck. But I do have a special toast.
Okay.
This one's going out to my big fella, the big Bronson Reed.
All right.
Who is no longer
he's still
big anymore.
Still big. He's definitely big. What if he comes back like after this injury and he's lost like 100 pounds or something like that? Right. You know, and he comes back and he's like little Bronson Reed.
Reed.
Or shorty Bronson Reed if they go that way. What if they go that way? What a shock that would be.
Yeah, so apparently they have lost Seth freaking Rollins. No more freaking.
Yeah. He just doesn't have to be called that. He's still Seth freaking
Rollins. No more dirty Dom Mysterio.
What a loss there.
I know. They lost that one. Lost that one. But hey, I'm happy to see big Bronson Reed.
No, that's a mistake.
Y'all need to go back to the archive and listen to our conversations about big Bronson Reed.
Remember when Vader was Big Van Vader and he had all the championships? He was one of the most feared big men in them. Then he came to WWE and he was just Vader and he always felt less than.
Yep.
They're like, this is what's going to happen with just Bronson Reed.
Cheers to you, Bronson Reed. You still out. You're still recovering from the War Games match. We know you're doing all right, boss, but we hope to see you back in the ring soon, sir.
All right. Now, do we call him just Bronson Reed now? All right, well, that's his new name. Just Bronson Reed.
Ooh.
Not bad.
That's got a lot of barrel forward flavors.
Yeah.
I like it. Very different.
No bite though, so I'm always good with that.
Very different. I like it.
Yep.
Good sponsor, Whiskey Gypsy.
We'll take it.
All right. We got to talk Roadblock to WrestleMania.
All right. We're loaded up.
What are we talking about today?
We had a busy weekend.
Busy.
It was a jam-packed weekend. We had title changes. We had characters disappear. We had characters reappear. We've got so much stuff happening. There's so much to wrap up. Got to get into it. Just got to dive in feet first.
Let's start with SmackDown then. Let's talk about the promo Cody Rhodes put out there.
Yep.
Let's talk about this promo.
First words after the big heel turn.
First words after the big heel. So it seems like Cody is trying to find explanation in this promo that he cut. He's searching for answers, right?
Yeah.
Did I expect him to be a little bit more fiery? Maybe.
Yeah, he got there.
He got there, but it was Monday.
Yeah. 3 days later.
3 days later.
Got there.
So this promo that he cuts on SmackDown, you kind of feel like he's getting there. He's ready to go. Started out questioning, but by the end of the promo, he told John, "You want some?
Yeah,
come get some."
Well, it's storytelling. I mean, he can't give it all to you in the very. He's got 38 more days left from today to be exact.
Well, you got to stretch it out till John shows up in Brussels.
Right. We got 5 full weeks to go before we actually see this match. So we got a long, drawn out story to tell here. So he gave you a taste of it. You know, I think Friday night was confusion. Like, oh my goodness, I've been stewing on this for a week and I'm still confused. I don't have any answers. I need my answers. Monday was a little bit more of the same thing. I still need answers, but whatever the answer is, it's not going to be good enough because, you got one coming. You got a receipt coming your way. And now when we go overseas, I think we're actually going to get John to speak. That he'll give us I think we're overseas for a month, or for the rest of the month. So essentially, I think we'll get John most of those shows, and he'll be able to give us, his version of the story. We'll get to see some face-to-face. We'll get, some of that stuff. So I think they'll give us enough to get us there. But I mean, without John being there, they got to slow burn it as slow as possible.
So here's how I want this confrontation to go between Cody and John in Brussels.
Okay.
I want John to come out. No music. No lights. No nothing. Just steadily walk to the ring.
Yeah, so I've heard that theory on a few different shows too. I don't like it.
I've not heard that.
He doesn't need to be the Undertaker. I mean,
but no, not even dark. Just come out to the ring. Don't even look at the fans. John is all about I mean, just popping circumstance, popping the fans, never give up, waving the towel, get in the ring, throw your hat right. He don't even look at the fans. Just walk out, get in the ring. Cody Rhodes, get your ass out here. Cody comes out. Again, no music. No poof, poof. There's more than one.
Yeah, they never do that with Cody. The fans come just to see that.
I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that.
Ain't doing that with Cody.
I want Cody to walk to the ring, get in the ring, motion for a mic, and John just stop him and say, no. Your time is up. My time is now. And then John just light into the promo of his life. Give us all the whys. Give us everything that we got questions about. But leave us wondering with just one little bit more. Why you, Cody? Why you?
I think he could give his side of it. I don't think he should give the reason he teamed up with The Rock. Right?
No, I know the reason. He teamed up with The Rock.
Yeah, but we don't want, again, it's got to go 5 more weeks, right? We got to draw it out.
Yeah, you got to draw it out.
So I think he should give, this is why I did what I did, period. And just leave it at that. Then carry it on to Friday next week.
Was it the I did it for you, Rock? Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong story.
No, that's the wrong story. Right string, wrong yo-yo.
That's right.
We're getting there, though. We'll eventually wheel the yo-yo back and get there, because that came up, too. That was good. But so and like I said, I've heard that theory on, Cena's got to go dark. I've heard the whole no music thing. They just want him to just be a guy. And I'm like, you know what? That ain't John Cena either. The John Cena I want to see, and this is, I mean, you got to go deep in your fandom for a lot of fans may or may not have seen, but I want to see like Total Divas John Cena, like where they were
the prick.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see John,
the arrogant jock prick.
I want to see John being who John Cena truly is, right? Or at least the character that he could play the best. I want him to be, hey, I'm rich, I'm specific, I'm determined, and everybody fall in line behind me.
So you come out there in the suit then?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I want to see. But not like the Miz suit, not like the Chris Jericho suit, not that. That's been done already. I want to see John do like what he did Shannon Sharp's show on. I want to see him do the show. He comes out in that blue suit with the rust colored shoes.
Right.
I want him to do that. I want him to make it feel like a full media Hollywood appearance, like he's blessing us with his presence. That kind of feel.
Okay.
Where he's going to come out, he's not going to, hustle, loyal, and respect. No, screw all that. I want him to go full Hollywood, but I want him to go see the Hollywood. I want it to be because, I mean, at this point, Hollywood Rock, Hollywood Cena, hell, they might as well bring in Hollywood Hogan at this point. But I mean,
they tried that, but the fans booed him out the building.
Yeah, no, they know that. Well, hey, you want to give Cena some heat? Stand him next to Hulk Hogan in a Democratic city, and hell, boo them all out of the building.
Yep.
But no, I want Cena to go full Hollywood Cena. I want him to do everything he does in Hollywood that people look at and say, that's so anti-wrestling. Ugh. Remember when Rock was Hollywood, Cena was a full-time guy, and he was like, Rock, you say you love the fans and blah, blah, oh, you're full of crap, blah, blah, blah. And then Rock would come out and he was all in his rock gear and all that. I want Cena to do the exact same thing. I want him to go full Hollywood. I want him to be glitz, glamour, A-lister, top shelf, all that stuff. I want him to have completely sold his soul to the devil and go Hollywood as can be.
Nice. Okay. So we definitely got differing opinions of what we think this is going to turn into.
The crazy part of it is he'll probably be neither.
It'll probably be neither.
It'll
You're
probably
right.
be something completely different than everything we're saying, and we'll still enjoy it.
And it's okay that happens because I love being surprised right now. I love not being able to look out there and say, I know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Since we're talking about Cody, let's go ahead and get into the promo that Cody threw out on Monday, though. Monday's promo, a little bit more fiery.
Yeah.
A little bit more urgency in his voice.
Yeah.
A little bit more, shall I say, arrogance.
Yeah.
Those of our fans who watch The Boys, y'all know the character that we always compare Cody to, Homelander.
Yeah.
One thing that you look out.
One guy stole the other guy's look. Now, I don't know which way that went.
We don't know which one happened.
Yeah, I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg on that one, but damn.
But one thing everybody knows about Homelander has what he says versus what he does.
Yep.
And then also what he does versus what he says.
Yeah.
So there's some double entendres that get put into the things that Homelander does, but Homelander always has quirks in his mannerisms.
Yeah.
There'll be some twitches in his face, or, he may just kind of look a different way or something. Cody kind of had those tendencies Monday night, especially when just
Cody's always had the lisp. If you're
it
referring
wasn't a
to
lisp.
that ain't going away. He got that honest as can be.
But it's almost like being able to tell you one thing, but in his mind, he knows he means another.
Okay.
So if you just pay attention next time Cody talks, see if you can point that out. But Cody dropped a big old F-bomb when he talked to The Rock and said, nope, I'm not selling my soul. Rock, go F yourself, right?
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Cody decides to walk on the edge again and just basically tells Cena, GD. And I mean, like, he just let it fly. And I'm like, whoa, Cody. Whoa, Cody, whoa.
I feel like at this stage they're pushing the limits. They're trying to see exactly how far they could go on.
Pushing the limits, but you can't let Seth and Punk flipping each other off be shown on TV.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. It depends on it depends on where that line is. It depends on what time the show.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
But so he gets in there.
Now you said something that I think another thing John Cena should pick up on, right? Because this is WWE Storyteller 101, where they always say, every heel feels like they're not the heel, right? They always feel you put a little bit of truth into everything a heel does, to whereas the heel has justification, right?
Right.
So if I'm John Cena, because Cena was all supportive of Cody in the beginning until Cody dropped that F-bomb. If I'm John Cena, I say, hey, I'm for the kids. I can't have you using that type of language in front of the kids. So I had to put you down. And then it makes John Cena the good guy again in his eyes. Or not in anybody else's eyes. Right, but in his eyes.
So anyhow, though, Cody used something, though, Monday night when he called himself, I'm the captain now. This is the Cody Cena feud. It is the who is the face that runs the place.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Whose face should be on every truck? Whose face should be on every WWE commercial, every WWE promotion, as far as whether it's Snickers or whatever. That's what this is really about.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, saying, Cena's like on the way out and Cody's on the way in. Obviously this is going to be a passing of the torch deal somewhere down the road.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they listened and they leaned into it. They're like, hey, it's the obvious storyline. You can't ignore it. I mean, you can't say, well, we're going to do something different. No, you don't do something different when that storyline's served up to you this good, right?
Yep.
You just cook it and eat. And that's what they're getting ready to do. They're going to cook, hopefully, slow cook, because, I mean, they got to get past Mania, right?
Well,
this don't stop in April.
They're having to slow cook Jay and Gunther by
that might be back in the refrigerator. I mean,
the way of A-Town Down Under. I mean, what do they got to do with anything?
Again, 7 weeks, right? When they were filming
That's
6 weeks, but when they started that, they had 7 weeks to go. They had a world of time left when they looked at, damn, how are we going to keep, because Gunther's out there beating Jay down every week. How the hell do we keep them apart for a month and a half?
Hindsight being 2020, they should have had Jay drag his decision out a couple more weeks.
Yeah, but then that would have set the other story into a flux. Because if he was still hanging out there, then John Cena couldn't have won the Elimination Chamber and made his decision, because both of them would just be kind of flailing around. So, I mean, it's the same good trouble they got themselves into last year where they kind of painted themselves into a corner. Well, now they got to use their creative juices to get themselves out of it, because you create that situation. Now you got to work through it. So,
yep. So speaking of working through it, we got to get to the other story that happened on SmackDown.
Okay.
Jade, Naomi, Bianca.
Yep.
As the world turns.
Oh yeah. This may have been some of the best, performances from all three of those women combined that they've all given at this point. Obviously, Jade is damn sure the best one is Jade's given, because they're kind of just letting her play the whole silent but deadly role, which that works for her, right? Because she's obviously the least best talker of the three. So that works. And then, but Bianca and Naomi, the story that they're telling, although I'm not 100% sure, but Naomi's seen this story somewhere along the way, throughout life, probably, right?
Yeah, well, her father-in-law.
I was going to say, you think maybe she was sitting in the den one weekend and, and old Pops was in there telling the story about the glory days.
Keith spoke up, Naomi, remember that time I did it for the Rock?
Yeah, he said, he was in there, he's in the den and he's telling the story about the glory days and whatnot. And he puts in a couple tapes because he's still got a VHS.
He got a VHS.
He looks like a VHS kind of guy. He's a VCR guy for sure.
Yep.
So he put in a couple of tapes and he played it through. And Naomi in the back of her mind was like, "Oh, I did it for the Rock, huh? Damn, I'll remember that." And it probably just sat dormant in the back of her mind for a few years. And lo and behold, on Friday night, popped one out. Hell,
I did it for you, Bianca.
I did it for you, B. BB. I'm like, who the hell's BB?
So first thing first. Normally don't talk about this, but I've noticed how certain things are starting to weave their way into the WWE universe. And I got to start.
You didn't just say weave because we're talking about Bianca, did you? I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there.
So one thing I got to start talking about, because there are some subtle things that are happening.
Make a whip joke.
Sorry. There's some subtle things that are happening though. Somebody pointed out the thing about Karrion Kross. About him changing
I sent you that
his hairstyle,
right? They played into that now.
Right, changing his hairstyle of who he's fighting or trying to influence. Super subtle. The outfit.
Is it subtle though, or is it because nobody's really paying attention to Karrion Kross?
No, it's but the outfits from Naomi, from Jade, and from Bianca. So through the Elimination Chamber, through SmackDown, through Raw, everything that happened, it all works for me. And I got to start pointing stuff like that out because, Elimination Chamber, Bianca, Naomi, and White.
Yep.
White's purity, right?
Yeah.
Innocence, right? One of them wasn't innocent. Jade come out black.
Yeah.
Vengeance, right? She spoiled the innocence and gave her vengeance, right?
Yeah.
SmackDown, Bianca come out there all black, mourning.
Uh-huh.
Naomi come out there all black, mourning.
Yeah.
They were mourning the loss of their friendship, the strain, right?
Uh-huh.
What did Bianca or Jade come out in?
All white.
A white with red, looking like blood all over it, looking like she stepped out of the Kill Bill movie scene.
Okay.
Fantastic. Just subtle little things like that. Monday, Bianca, her mood, she was sad. She was torn all over everything. She was in blue. And it had teardrops on everything.
Yep.
Perfect. It's just subtle storytelling like that.
Yeah.
And from here, that's the girls putting their own touch on things.
Yeah. Well, because Bianca does the costumes, so she's able to create and sit and talk and like, what do you want to do? What are we trying to convey?
Yep.
What are we, where are we getting to? Hey, let's get to it, So between the three of them sitting down and putting their heads together and drawing story. The only thing I would like to see him do, point that shit out.
Yep.
Don't just do it and expect us to catch it, because not everybody's watching and doing a 30 to 45 minute show on it every week.
What triggered me was Bianca did point it out on X. She said, "Damn, EO, I didn't mean to piss you off. You slapped the teardrops right off my dress."
There you go.
So she pointed it out.
Yeah, but point that get
on commentary.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Get in touch with Pat. Get it. Get in touch with Cole. Get in touch. Let them know. Hey, this is what we're going for here. Talk about it. Because Michael Cole said a million times he goes to the talent because he's looking for stuff to say. Otherwise, he has to create it all by himself, but he needs that input from the characters so he gets where they want to go and he can get them there. If you're going to do that, hey, great that you're doing it. Go over there and get Cole on it, get Pat on it, get your Friday night team on it. make them mention it, like, hey, I caught wind of this, or I noticed this, or did you notice this? And make them talk about it, make it a thing to whereas now you're paying attention, you're hell bent on, oh my God, what's coming next week? I can follow this like a mood ring.
Yep. So obviously I think what we're getting ready to get with Jade and Naomi, that's a WrestleMania match.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to see it be a stipulation match. I would love to see it be a last woman standing match.
Ooh, I don't know if Jade's ready for all that yet.
Now that gives Jade an out, not having to wrestle so much.
Jade's got an out. She's Goldberg. She's going to come out there and run through Naomi, give her 4 minutes.
And then obviously on the other side, Bianca's going to wind up in the triple threat with Io and Rhea. That's where that's winding up.
So we're glad you brought that up because we mentioned it last week and they went right down the line like they were supposed to.
Yep.
But how many triple threats are we having this year at WrestleMania?
A lot.
So
you're trying to get everybody on the card.
I get it. They're trying to get everybody on the card. God damn, we don't need them all in one match. Now, hell, we got 2 nights, 4 hours a night. We can spread it out a little bit.
So that whole Bianca, Rhea, Io, that was a good bit of business. I enjoyed that because Io got pie faced by both of them, and then she went shell on both of them.
Right, she just kind of snapped, and they weren't expecting it because when you're looking at it, Rhea and Bianca, they're big horses in that ring. They're almost 6 foot. Io's all of 5'3".
Yep.
So when you're looking at it, it looks all wrong, but because they just kind of cast her off like the afterthought, and then she came in and asserted herself, and then left the ring saying in whatever English she was saying it in, I'm the champion. And I'm like, hey, assert yourself. Let them know. Hell yeah, y'all are bigger than me. Y'all got this whole story going, but I'm part of this. This is all me right now. Yep. Y'all are both fighting, arguing to fight me. You ain't just arguing to fight yourselves. So it was good to see her work her way in there like that. But we totally called it.
We totally called it. Yeah, absolutely.
Listen to last week if you doubt us. We nailed it.
So triple threats. Let's go to the other triple threat.
Too many triple threats. But okay.
So obviously we're lining up for the triple threat between Roman, Punk, and Seth. All right, so first things first. There's a lot of chatter on the old interwebs. A lot of chatter. Everybody giving Punk, giving Seth their flowers over this cage match.
Oh, yeah, they went all out.
Telling people, man, this is what a cage match is supposed to be.
I like the cage match.
Then there was a cage match that happened in another promotion that everybody seemed to be shitting on that, in my opinion, they don't need to shit on it.
What cage match was this? Tell us more. Tell us more.
Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher.
Ugh.
Why? Tell me.
It's so done. I mean, so that story has 0 legs. I have 0 F's to give. And they just keep doing. I mean, how many times are those guys? So is Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay, I mean, are they like Kenny Omega understudies? Are they, are they completely stealing everything he's doing? What the hell are we dealing with here? Why do I care? Besides 2 guys having a match.
It's the story that you're only going to know if you dig deep.
So that's not the story that's going to get the fan that ain't really watching to turn the TV on.
And that's why a lot of people don't see the beauty in what they did versus what Seth and Punk did. I'm going on record. I loved both matches for both styles of how everything kind of unfolded. So Ospreay, Fletcher, there was so many twists and turns in that match. But the real story is Ospreay was supposed to replace Kenny. Kenny's career was over in New Japan. Ospreay was supposed to be that new backbone. Ospreay takes that mantle up, does great, but then somehow finds his way into America. Okay. Well, Ospreay left his protege in New Japan, which was Kyle Fletcher in the Aussie Open. Left him over there. Kyle Fletcher came to America to hunt Ospreay down, just like Ospreay came to New Japan to hunt Kenny down. It's the same story, second version, sequel. I mean, it's exactly what it is. Unfortunately, it's just not being told. If you watched it, I know.
Oh God.
The thing.
Everything you just said is the same story as Kraven the Hunter, and I didn't like that movie either.
The thing is, though, honest to God, the thing is, 2 different cage matches, both beautiful. And if you're a wrestling fan, why can't you just enjoy wrestling?
I mean, the match was probably good, but again, how much did that match have to cost me to watch?
Depends on who you know.
So, general public, how much did that match have to cost me to watch?
Probably $39, $49.
Would you have paid it? Did you pay it?
No.
Forget would you have paid it. Did you pay it?
No.
Okay, so that means everything that you just said wasn't worth the $50 to pay.
But
that means it was a lot.
I've sold these C's, sir, for 20 years, though.
Indeed, but that means
Since Napster and LimeWire, sir.
As Funaki would say, indeed. But all in all, you weren't willing to shell out the dollars for it because it wasn't that important.
I wouldn't be willing to shell out the dollars anymore for WrestleMania.
I would. So they could wander me into paying $50 for WrestleMania.
Same
every
reason
year.
why I still love the UFC, but I'm not going to wander into paying for UFC.
So I don't love the UFC. I wouldn't pay for that. But you say that now. But how many streaming services do you have?
How many streaming services do I pay for is the ticket?
Well, that's all right. So a lot, right? We'll have to get into the specifics of it, but it's a lot, right?
Yeah,
we all got a lot.
We all got a lot.
Everybody that's listening, I'm sure, unless you're overseas, we love you guys. We love our overseas partners. I don't know how y'all streaming works over there, so I can't speak on that. But all the streamers over here, all the listeners over here, y'all got a lot of damn streaming services. So when we say, oh, we wouldn't pay this for that, we wouldn't pay that for that. If AEW put that same match on Max where they were intended to go, we would have paid for that. Like, what's Max? $10 a month?
Yep.
We'd have paid for that.
Yep.
I'd happily pay $10 a month to watch all of AEW's pay-per-views, and it might actually draw me back into interest in the company, right?
Yep.
But for whatever reason or another, they decided to go to Amazon Prime, which I said, yay. And then they said, oh, yeah, but the pay-per-view still costs the exact same price, which I said, oh, and did watch. The point I'm getting at here is having a great match for the purpose of having a great match ain't gonna pull $50 out of my pocket once a month. It'll never happen. Once a quarter, it ain't gonna happen.
We got to get back on the interstate here, sir.
Yeah, well, you know where I'm going with that. That was a little detour I took there, but the point of it is great matches happen all the time. There's 100 great matches happening over in the UK right now. I don't know about none of them. The fact because there's no story to draw me into wanting to watch.
You do struggle watching stuff like New Japan and stuff. I know we've had that conversation.
It's awful. There's no story behind it. If I just want to watch 2 guys fake wrestle, I could do. That's the video game. I got the game for that. I paid $140 for the game to watch 2 fake people wrestle.
You gotta dig in. You gotta learn the story.
It's not boxing. It's not real. If I want to dig in and get interested in that, then I'll watch football, basketball. I'm going to watch a real sport, do real sport things.
Now we're
wrestling
starting to
because we know it ain't 100% real. We know we're in it for the story. If you ain't going to give me no story, well, hell, I'm just watching 2 guys dance together. No, forget that.
So now we're starting to find where our sponsor may be coming in here, because now you might be seeing the difference between old Marky Mark and old Frank over here. Frank's the historian. Frank pays attention. Oh, Marky Mark might be the whiskey gypsy. He's an explorer.
Hey,
he goes looking at other things.
Could be.
But anyhow, let's get back on the interstate here on our roadblock to WrestleMania.
Yeah, there's so much happening. I mean, we can spin into anything at this point.
So, yeah, like lots of detours you can take.
Yeah.
But anyhow, talking about this cage match between Punk and Seth. Great cage match. Psychology was beautiful. Both of those guys were hell-bent on just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
They didn't care who won the match, obviously by the fact that they were opening the door saying, hey, you want to win?
Yeah.
Step out.
Right.
Go ahead, go win.
You want to fight? Here we are.
Here's some issues that I had in that cage match. WWE, we've been talking about stories. You're trying to tell us a story.
Yep.
Why the hell are you still censoring things? From what we've heard, Netflix went on blast and saying, look, you guys are pissed off that we blacked out the middle fingers from both Punk and Seth in that match. It wasn't our call. That was the WWE's call to censor that. So you're going to censor somebody flipping somebody off, but you're not going to censor an FU or a GD from Cody Rhodes?
Hey, look here. WWE still got stuff to sell, right? Cody's merch ain't struggling. They ain't worried about myself. Cody's merch ain't sitting on the shelves collecting dust. That just flying off faster than the
I think they're trying to give an edge to Cody right now.
They have to because he's alternate of The Rock. Yeah. And we know The Rock ain't pulling back. And they ain't going to censor The Rock because if they start censoring...
That's the balls. You ain't censoring the balls.
Well, let's be honest. If you start blacking out half the stuff Rock says, half the promo's gone.
Yeah, that's why I switched to Netflix to watch that stuff.
Exactly. Now everybody's cutting off. Nobody's watching that if you're, if half the promo's, quiet. So if you're going to let Rock go there, you got to let Cody go there too because they're playing against each other.
Yep.
Now Seth and Roman and Punk, they're doing something different, right? They're establishment guys. They're part of the cog. They're a cog in the machine, right? They know the rules. They know, hey, we can push here. We can, get away with a little bit here, but we're not going to go overboard because they're selling their merch on a regular basis.
So here's kind of how I'm looking at Seth, Punk, and Roman. I'm kind of looking at this like this is not like there's going to be some puns and cliches in here because no real way to get around it.
Yeah.
This ain't for a belt. This is like King.
A belt holds your pants up, sir.
This is like King of the Mountain.
Essentially, yeah.
It's like who's top of
So Jeff Jarrett's hosting?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. There's going to be puns.
God, you want to talk about horrible wrestling. Here's a detour we could get off. The King of the Mountain.
Okay. Stay on the road.
Yeah,
stay on the road.
That was just a little skid. I just fell asleep at the wheel there.
Swerve when he drive.
Yeah, King of the Mountain matches. Whew.
But
wow.
So anyhow, that's what's really going on. They're trying to figure out who's top of the pecking order between these three. The interesting bit, though, was at the very end when Roman kind of put the beat down on Seth, looked in the ring and saw Paul consoling Punk.
Which I was confused by because I'm like, how'd Paul get in that cage? That door ain't that big now. I mean, hell, I don't know how the hell he sideways his ass in that, or maybe they lifted the cage and we missed it. Yeah, because I'm thinking like, how the hell did Paul segue into that door? And I'm like, come on now. But somehow or another they worked it out for him.
So you saw how Roman kind of acted towards that. That's one of the most interesting dynamic relationships between Paul and Roman. Roman looks at Paul like he's the wise man.
Yeah.
But I think Paul thinks that Roman looks at him like he's not expendable, yet Roman could throw away Paul at any time.
I mean, hell, when Roman came back, he came back without Paul. So,
right.
I mean, Roman is Roman. At this point, he may have outgrown Paul, to be completely honest.
Maybe.
But and that could be where they're going, and at some point in this story, and that may be the way to get Paul away from Roman.
Yep.
Who knows? But I also think, if you're going to try and do an actual face run with Roman, you're not doing it with Paul, right?
Yep.
Let's be honest. Paul has become a lovable character over the last couple years, but Paul's a much better heel than he is a face.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So trying to get Paul Heyman to do face stuff, that's going to be a stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, Roman ain't necessarily a face, but he's in that tweener role. But if you attach him to Paul, you're kind of leaning heavy on the heel side. I don't think that's where they want to go. So
Booker's Alliance faithful, don't get it twisted. Roman is not a face.
And no.
Roman is not a face.
He's always Roman's
heel.
Best fit in that tweener character where he's one of the fan favorites with a dark side. Yep. That's kind of the world that he should live in. But I got a question for you in this match.
Okay.
Do we consider, with all else that's going on at WrestleMania, do we consider that triple threat a main event? Is this CM Punk's backdoor into the main event of WrestleMania, or is this just another match?
I've gone back and forth over this a little bit. I feel like as fans, we are superimposing the whole. One of the reasons that Punk came back was a stipulation that he had to be in the main event. So
Punk said that in his interview. He specifically said, when he was talking about Cody, when he was talking about Seth, he repeats it over and over again. You're not going to hinder my dream to main event WrestleMania. So that's, by his admission alone, that's his primary concern.
So we know kind of where his headspace is.
Yep.
Roman. Anything Roman is in could be considered a main event, in my opinion.
Could be.
It's Roman, right?
It could be, should be, but is the question.
The three of them together, I don't believe is a main event.
And that's where I fall with it too. Seth Rollins, previous main eventer of WrestleMania, right? Roman Reigns main evented more WrestleManias than anybody else, and that includes Hulk Hogan. And that's saying a lot because Hulk Hogan main evented the first 8 of them, consecutively by himself. So, but Roman's done more than that at this point. So, I mean, and, he's the front bearer of main eventers. CM Punk being in there because I know his goal is to main event WrestleMania. I get the thought of it. But yeah, had it been Seth and Roman, I wouldn't have called it a main event of WrestleMania unless there was a title involved. And that's not just because of my love for the title. It's just because of what overshadows it. The problem with having the main event of WrestleMania is you've got Cody, Cena, and Rock doing their thing, and that's going to overshadow it. Unfortunately, that's overshadowing everything. I don't care if it goes last on Saturday night. Hell, I don't care if it goes last on Sunday night. They do the Rock, Cena stuff on Saturday. That's still the main event of WrestleMania, and that's what's going to go down as what put all the butts in seats. And it's unfortunate for Punk that he's in the situation that he's in because, he's squared up next to Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, who last year were the co-main event of WrestleMania. They were both world champions going into Mania last year. Neither one of them walked out as champion, though. And neither one of them sniffed a title since then. Still top-level guys. You package Punk in there with it, you would think, hey, this is great. But I think where they ruined it at, they gave us too much Seth and Punk already that now at this point now, I almost feel like they're just throwing Roman into it. That's horrible. I mean, we're talking about your biggest star in the company, not named The Rock, of course. But now he's just thrown into a match that 2 other guys are having a blood feud over. Yuck.
So I think there's 2 missteps with Punk and the whole main event WrestleMania scene. The first misstep was having Punk and Seth touch on Saturday night's main event.
Yep.
That was the first misstep.
Yep.
They should have just let that build, let everything else go sideways, and then the first time they touched would have been WrestleMania.
Yeah, they could have did it at the Rumble. At the Rumble, had they never wrestled before and they just did what they did at the Rumble, I'd have been okay with that.
I could see them main eventing WrestleMania if they had never touched.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
The second misstep, and even though I like what happened, the second misstep was Jey Uso winning the Rumble.
Yeah.
If they would have had Punk win the Rumble and go after Gunther, that would have main event. That'd have been main event.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Main event 1 belt night 1, main event 1 belt night 2.
Yeah, no, so where's Roman fit? Because Roman's overshadowing
right
the world
now.
Title.
He's being put in a 3-way that has no consequence.
True, but it has also now elevated in the WWE, in the company status. It elevated that match to main event and it relegated Jey and Gunther to probably open it one night, right?
It did, but it didn't have to. But it did.
Yeah, it did. It was inevitable because, and again, and we've gone over this so many times, but I'm never going to relent off the point. The Rock doesn't come back to not be the main event of WrestleMania.
True,
right?
true.
So he was going to be, and then when you pack in Cena and Cody in there with it, oh hell, that's the runaway main event by far. Now something else has to fit to be that top match of night 2 or night 1. Gunther Punk ain't it because if somewhere another Roman Reigns was going to have to wrestle, and unless you package him into that Cody feud, well, he was going to main event whatever he gets in is going to be a main event just because of who he is. So that would have relegated Punk and anybody that wasn't touching Roman Reigns out of the main event.
So what if I told you Punk is the smartest man in the WWE?
I'd say Roman is, but
what if I told you that, what do you call Satan? He's the father of lies.
Okay.
Who does Punk compare himself? The devil himself.
Well, that's MJF or Adam Cole.
Who did MJF take that from? Anyhow,
we have no idea where
what
that
if
story
Punk
went.
is just straight up lying to us to be like trolling fans? Y'all think I'm after a main event, but really I don't give a shit.
Then I think he would be trolling himself if he said that because of what was supposed to happen last year. So,
he was supposed to be a main event.
Exactly. Had that injury not happened, we know his intention, the company's intention, everybody's intention was for him to main event last year. Yep. So if he comes back and says, oh yeah, I didn't really mean it, I think that equals up to where Cody says, oh Rock, you can have my main event spot. It's a load of horse shit. Nobody's buying it.
So we also got to stumble into something else that, we're putting in here as our topic. We're talking about Roadblock. We're talking about NXT.
Yeah, okay.
We've got to talk about this before we wrap up the episode.
Okay.
So we got to talk about Oba Femi.
Oh my goodness.
And Moose.
Man, you want to talk about two guys who left it all out there? Dude. Man, them guys went out there and put on a show. For guys that ain't on the main roster, they wrestled as if they were.
Straight fire. Every minute of that match was straight fire. Moose, welcome to the limelight when it comes to finally getting recognition. Oh, yeah. Not calling TNA a pipsqueak by no means, but
they ain't WWE.
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Moose finally gets some of that limelight he deserves. Oba. Oh my God, as Booker T would say.
Both of them guys, I mean, they made a hell of a splash.
Yes, it did.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see both of them have some involvement on the main roster before the end of this year.
Amazing match. Talk about real quick. Let's talk about Jordan Grace, Roxanne Perez.
Okay.
Holy hell, was that a great match?
Yeah, they went out there.
They went at it.
Roadblock was a busy event. I mean, talk about Julia and Stephanie. So, I think what WWE did, they hired so many women so fast and at such a high level that they're like, well, damn, we got to start bumping people up to the main roster like right away. I feel like, they had lightning in their bottle with Julia, and they're like, God, let's just get her up now. Why are we pussyfooting around in this whole NXT thing?
So let's talk
she can go main roster.
Let's talk about that match for 1 second.
Okay.
There was a spot in that match, one of the damnedest spots I have ever seen in all of my years of watching wrestling. All of my years. We saw the one spot where, was it Brock threw the mic and Roman catched it?
Yeah.
Right? We saw who threw the shirt and AJ caught it. I can't remember who.
AJ.
Yeah, it was AJ. It happened a couple months ago. Anyhow, there's a spot in this match between Julia and Stephanie Vaquer where Stephanie comes off the top rope in a spinning splash type, whatever she was going for. Julia caught her as she landed in an arm triangle.
Yep. And
who in the hell
and you're looking
does
like,
that?
What?
How did that even happen? Like, I watched it and I was like, what?
Yeah, I had to go back.
I rewound it. I watched it again.
I had to go back too. Yep.
I rewound it, watched it again. I
had to go back too because I was waiting for them to go back. And when they didn't, and there was so much happening, I get why they didn't. But I'm like, well, hell, I got to go back. I was like, I got to catch that because I was looking for the flaw. I'm like, there's no way that went that smooth, and that executed that way. And then when I saw it, that's when I realized, I said, oh my goodness, these girls are better than the main roster girls at this point. They're already doing big things.
And we got to talk about real quick. We got to talk about Fraxium and the Hardy Boys. We got to talk about that.
What a hell of a comeback for the Hardys.
The Hardys, boy, they look like they've rejuvenated their careers to 15 years prior.
Yeah, they
look good.
They were flowing. Although I noticed Matt Hardy had the long version of John Cena's haircut.
Yeah.
So
Matt's hairline's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, in the front and the back.
I mean, it's bound to happen to all of us.
Yeah. I know you ain't got to tell me. So been there, done that, shaved it all off.
But as we wrap up this episode, look, we don't want to cut NXT short by any means, but there was so much main roster talk. We had to expand on some of the stuff going. But if you're not watching NXT,
we didn't have to wander into that AEW talk though. We could have snipped that a little bit. We could have gave more time to NXT, but we owe you one. We owe them one.
I got to give love to at least that match. But anyhow, so if you're not watching NXT though, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing? Find a way to get your Tuesday stuff on. I mean, it's on CW, so I don't know where everybody's getting it. I can't tell you, hey, it's right here. It's channel blah blah blah. Right. I don't know where the hell your CW is, depending on what you watch. But I mean, that's free TV. Find a way to get it and watch it.
So as we're on this roadblock to WrestleMania, reach out on our social media platforms, drop us a line, tell us what you're doing on your road to WrestleMania, how you're enjoying it, what stories are you looking forward to the most, who do you think is going to main event night 1 and night 2? Tell us, reach out there, tell us what you're thinking. But with that, everybody, we appreciate you and we bid you adieu.
You're still watching AEW though?
I'm still watching AEW, man. I got to watch it. Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.